impact people's lives, especially in building an equitable future with commerce. Here are a few brands that I've worked with or been associated with. I think a quick call out for Global Women in AI there. And I'm ambassador for them. This is really an initiative from the Center for Finance, Technology, and Education. We're really looking to drive great standards and help both policy and people drive good standards around AI and make sure that women have a seat at the table as we move ahead. And then I always like to call out E for All. It's really an initiative about those who have the opportunity to mentor folks that are underserved and would like to be an entrepreneur. And so if you guys haven't heard about them yet, they're always looking for great mentors to help these folks. So I recommend you guys sign up. So with that note, I'm going to talk through the AI economy here. And most of the opinions are my own. They are informed from a lot of course, my background and experience here. But we're entering something that's quite new. And so I wanted to invite everyone and I'm going to take about 20-25 minutes to go through this framework. And really, after that, open up for a conversation, because I'd love to hear from you guys and really have that interaction. So when you think about AI and where the investments in the market are going, today you see two really big buckets of investments. One is focused on growth. So how does your business model change? What does brand new products, how are you going to act as a disruptor or a fast follower? Where are your customers as these new AI products come to life? Or then you have also a lot of initiatives on efficiency. So how do you run your business with less or more efficiently? Coding faster, designing faster, resolving bugs faster, supporting more customers with less. And we've seen a lot of new products focused here and a lot of fast disruption, because this is where folks are adopting a lot of solutions pretty fast and a lot of innovation to drive efficiency. But what I'm going to talk to you all today is really about that growth part and how do we create more business and new businesses with AI. And I'm going to bring it in from a consumer angle because it's such a diverse audience here that if we look at this at a commerce angle, you guys will see the pattern, and then we can translate this into other verticals. But the agentic commerce really, I think, if your guys are here and watching an AI session, you're probably already using a lot of the tools that have put Gen AI in the hands of millions of consumers worldwide. And so the shift that we're seeing is a consumer behavior shift where consumers used to really search for items and intents and things like I'm looking for a red shoe and I need it from this brand or this size, to really stating an intent and delegating this to an agent or an AI to deliver it on their behalf. And so this shift has already started to happen. I think we recently saw ChatGPT announcing the 800 million weekly active users on their platform. We have quite interesting numbers coming from Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, and so on. And so the shift is underway. And the reason we have so many consumers adopting this is because it is really convenient. And great products really come from when we find that benefit to consumers. And so when we start double clicking into commerce and we look at the evolution of commerce from probably dating myself here, but back in the day, I used to shop only in brick and mortar, and that was the inventory available for me when I was growing up. And soon came Amazon and eBay of the world and brought all of that to a screen. And so in the desktop, I could find what I was looking for and hopefully have it delivered to my home. And then mobile came and put shopping in our pockets and within social media, right? So now we're there browsing through Instagram and TikTok, and we find something interesting and someone runs an ad and we go and shop from there. And what we're talking about here is this new channel, this new way of shopping, which is more multimodal and is led by agents. And no one is saying here that there's a full disruption from, there's no value in brick and mortar anymore or desktop. There is a role for all of these surfaces and all of these channels, but there's a new channel. So there's a shift happening, and there's a question on how much traffic or how much sales and commerce will come from multimodal versus all of these other channels. So when we think about this and what's happening, I think a lot of people still feel this is in the future. So I brought here some of the headlines from the last few months, and there's a lot of investments already going towards this, right? So we see Google with AI mode, price tracking, agentic checkout, and virtual try-on. And so there's a lot of movement and investment. We recently heard Uber with OpenAI, or here you have Etsy. And this is really about developing that agent-to-agent experience so that those consumers that are currently using these tools to find items and that they like, now they can actually shop and pay within these platforms. So let's take a step back though, right? So when we think of the whole ecosystem here, I like to divide it in three. So on the left here, we have the agentic first platforms. And these are folks like Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Gemini. And consumers are starting to use those. And they really monetize themselves with their $20 a month subscription and so on. And they're driving these new consumer behaviors, and they're leveraging all of these new agentic services and tools that are being developed. So you have the ADKs, you have A2A, ACP, there's so many new acronyms, but it's really that infrastructure that enables you to build these consumer experiences. And then on the right, you have all of those established players. So established merchants that have their brick and mortar stores, have their sites, have their mobile apps, and now need to figure out how do they even engage and participate where their customer is at, right? And what are the tools and services that they need? Do they need to build new? Are they going to adopt something that was built by one of these agentic services? And so all of this is what's been cooking up this year. This is the big year of defining how these three come together. And so this all looks great at a very high level, but I'm a product person and I like to simplify things. And so what I'd love to walk with you guys through is a customer-backed journey, very simple journey. And I'm going to start on how shopping happens today. And again, we're looking at this at a commerce angle and shopping, but the framework that I'm going to describe and the relationships that I'm going to describe here, they are true in many other verticals. So come with me, and I'm looking forward to having a discussion about this in a few minutes. So let's go and buy an outfit. Let's say you're walking down the street and you see this outfit that you like. And let's start buying it together. So if I'm buying this outfit, the first thing that I start looking for is that anchor piece. And for me, the anchor piece is really this royal blue linen blazer. So my first action is to go online and start searching. And very fast, I have tens of tabs open. All of these different variations of blue and all of these different stores with different prices, different quality. And very soon I'm in an ocean of royal blue blazers and linen blazers and brands, and it's very hard for me to make a decision. And this is because just for that one item, consumers usually have at least 8 decisions to make before they buy one item. And so you have that category of desirability. Is this the style that I want, that represents me, that I feel comfortable in? Is it the color that I'm looking for? Is it the right size for me? Will it fit well? And then you have, on the other hand, all the viability. So is it a store that I trust, that I know, that I like? Is it the right price for me? Does it fit in my pocket? Will it arrive on time? Do I have an event that I need this item for? And then is there any offers or promos or rewards that I can apply here? And finally, how do I pay? So just for one item, the consumer is walking through all of these 8 decisions, if not more. And let's go back though. What the consumer is actually doing is looking to buy the whole outfit. So that's more than 6 items, which means more than 48 decisions. That's more than 2 hours just shopping for something that the customer already knows, and they probably have a budget and a date that they need it by. So this is what shopping looks like today. And does it resonate with you all? Give me some fingers up, hands up, if it does. And so the problem here isn't new, right? So I just want to, this is an old study. This is 2020, McKinsey talking about how we all need to personalize shopping and deliver better experiences by connecting the consumer from the pre-visit to during the visit to post-visit. And then you have all of these investments, again, billions of dollars have gone into this, but things are still broken. And so the problem isn't new, and we as consumers, or any decision making that we're driving, we do feel this in our day-to-day. And the point is that the solution is new, right? We can now start delegating a lot of these decisions through agentic experiences. And so let's go through what an agentic commerce experience is shaped to look like. So instead of all of those steps that I shared, the future that I'm excited about is one that I'm uploading the picture of the outfit that I'm looking for and just delegating that task to an agent. And so here I'm looking for an outfit just like the one in this picture. Please help me find these items. I need it to arrive by June 1st, and my budget is $250. And so that is the shift in the consumer behavior in the economy that's happening, because now the consumer is delegating that task to an agent, and instead of performing it themselves. So let's break this down, right? What's happening when a prompt like this is shared with one of these agents? So let's start with the first step. So the first step is actually that consumer figuring out, who am I delegating this task to? What is the agent that I feel is most fit for this task? And also which one is more convenient for me to delegate this task to? And I'll just do a little bit of a call out here to all the investments that we've seen and all the rush, both on the operating systems and becoming the browser. So we've seen Comet, we've seen Atlas, all of that, so that environment is then hosted fully by one of these agents. And we also see the run for devices, right? Again, ChatGPT and Perplexity announcing all the devices that they're investing in, so that instead of depending on a third-party device, the consumer now is already invoking their agent, whatever agent they choose, on the device that agent performs the best. So once that consumer picks that agent, then we go to number 2. That's when that agent starts reasoning. So in this case, I'm shopping for a woman. My budget is $250. It's a royal blue blazer, royal blue top, dark jeans, black purse, so on. And that agent will then start reasoning to discover what are the stores that have this item, the items needed available. What are the players that actually have good data available so that they can compare and actually make a decision? And then from the consumer angle, there's the question on, can I autonomously order this on behalf of this consumer? Does the consumer trust me enough for this order? So one example that I really like here is, if you imagine where Uber and ChatGPT might be going with this, and this again is hypothetical, the ability to order an Uber through Atlas, for example, And if it's the first time that you're ordering that Uber, you likely want more confirmation, confirming the form of payment that you're going, that you're using, the direction that you're going. If it's a new route for you, you want to check out to see if the agent set up the route correctly. However, if it's the 10th time you're going to the airport from your house, I think you're delegating that to the agent and you feel more comfortable. You actually don't want to be bothered on, are you sure that this is the airport? Are you sure that this is the app that I should be picking for you for your transportation? And so that number 3 there, that's a lot where all the economy is going to be changing, and a lot of change is coming. So let's go just look through those 8 decisions again. And how do we actually buy a blazer today? Is that humans are going to all the service providers across all of these items and reviewing it by themselves to make the decision, right? So I use Pinterest quite a bit, or Google Try It On for the style. And then for color, royal blue is quite a different color, right? And so most merchants don't have royal blue in their system. So who is going to help the operator agent? Is Pantone going to help? What is the data provider that's going to certify or help increase the confidence that this is royal blue? And then who is helping with size? Or even more important, who is helping with brand trust? And who is modeling what I trust as a consumer for me to be able to delegate to this agent what that agent is doing? Or defining that this price is acceptable for me within my price range. And all the questions around, does it arrive on time? Who are the players that are going to be invoked by this generalist or operator agent to resolve all of this? And when you think about all the businesses that already participate here, how do they show up? What is their business model? Will these operator agents be attributing brand value and financial value to all of these players when commerce happens on their platform? So all of that is being designed right now. And this is a very simplified view of what's happening. A little bit technical, but not too much, I hope. But the idea here is, let's say that consumer, like I showed in the steps 1, 2, 3, chooses that operator agent that then starts performing and reasoning on the task and invokes these subject matter expert agents, being that for pricing, for fulfillment, do I trust this store? What are the stores that have this item? And those folks need to be ready to respond so that they participate. And so think of all of this. This makes a lot of sense when we're talking about big businesses and enterprises. This is pretty hard to do if you're a small business or the moms and pop shop that sells cupcakes in Austin. And so all of this infrastructure and how we design it, it's important right now that we organize ourselves and really design it for scale, enabling that operator agent to really surface what's best for the consumer and for the economy, right? And that it's also inclusive in that way, so that if you're buying cupcakes, it's not only from the major stores, that the little stores also get and get to participate in this flow. And I brought here Perplexity as an example, where you start seeing already, this is a couple of months old, so I believe they've updated it somewhat. But what I really like about Perplexity is the transparency. And it starts showing to the consumer who is participating in the reasoning, who is contributing to the decision. And this is not fully autonomous agent to agent yet, right? But one can see the moment that an agent from Macy's, for example, or from Loft is invoked into this chat to talk with the consumer. And so the question is, how ready are those businesses to be invoked and engage in this chat? So just talking through the paradigm shift here for consumers. In sum, the big shift is really because today, between discovering what you want, comparing, deciding, and ordering, a consumer takes more than 120 minutes and probably navigates across 10 applications to get things done. And what we're walking into is a world that in less than 2 minutes, a single app will solve that for you. And you're delegating a lot of those decisions to them. And so when we see the significant shifts where you're giving time back and value to consumers, this is why adoption is so big. And this is why need to be very mindful around how we build this economy so that each player that contributes to these decisions actually get their value, right? And of course, we always need to focus on the economic part of doing good business. And when you're launching a new commerce channel, conversion is always a key thing to look at. So is agentic commerce really performing better than the other channels? And the answer is right now, not really. It's almost there. On average, in the US, you have a 2.4% conversion in the commerce funnels. That means that from all the consumers that land on your site, only 2.4% of those actually go and buy something at the end. And so that's pretty low. That's quite expensive. A lot of investment on that customer acquisition. And what we are starting to see, though, is that the potential of agentic to bring that up and actually become a higher conversion channel than the other channels because of the customer trust and the support that we're doing on decisioning. So the moment that I leverage an agent, I am more confident that this is a good purchase decision because it helped me through it, right? So the main things that the industry is working through right now is how do I improve that funnel friction so it's actually seamless to purchase through an agentic commerce experience. The data quality. Merchants aren't very renowned for great data quality around their catalog and inventory and what is the latest campaign they're running around sales, especially for SMBs. And then you have all that trust. Will consumers really trust these agents to operate on their behalf? What are the protocols of handshakes between these entities? And then you have all the personalization and privacy. So if you think through the relevance that's required to find that item for you and actually shop that basket and make all the decisions, you need to know a lot about that consumer. Is the consumer willing to give you all that data? Is there a clear view of how the data is being used and controls for the consumers to choose? So all of these are being built right now with the goal of really having that acceleration. And the big investments are on the bet that this slope here is really going to be quite steep, meaning that agentic commerce is going to convert much better than the current channels. And so in sum, actually, here's I brought this just for us to break down this problem a little bit more, and we can use it for our discussion in a few minutes. So when you start seeing these new technologies and where you can find product market fit, these LLM platforms are really great at helping consumers on high consideration items today. So on low consideration, though, like toothpaste or apples or batteries, I'm just going to get it the old way. I'm just going to order it off whatever marketplace I have a subscription with, or just get it off the shelf. I don't really care that much about those low consideration items. But when it's a high consideration item, I already find myself, I don't know about you guys, I already find myself leveraging these tools quite a bit to help me make that decision of what is the new car I'm going to buy? What is the headset I'm going to buy? Mortgage, that's such a complex purchase, right? And so these tools can help us, and they already are. And these are actually the high consideration items are where there's the biggest impact on conversion because there's lowest conversion there today. These are hard decisions to make, and the power of agentic commerce is to improve how consumers get to make those decisions and know that they will get what's best. Like, so noise canceling headsets that fit well for I don't know, small heads or bigger heads, and you can figure it out now, and before it took quite a while. And so conversion, that 0.5 to 1.5% is starting to go up. Again, these are all beta experiments that we're seeing in the industry, but high consideration is also high ticket. So the monetary value of this is pretty significant. So agent-driven commerce is really reshaping how businesses will be setting up and going to market, right? So the consumer change from searching to intent. Then you start having, instead of browsing for something, you're looking for the agent to recommend. Instead of clicking to buy, you're prompting for a purchase. And you have all of these KPIs that are being redefined because of how consumers are starting to behave with these platforms. And when we think of all of this, again, this is where a lot of the investments of enterprises are going. And the reason I'm very happy to be here and sharing all of this with everyone here is that I do feel we need to do more for the medium and the small businesses so that they are ready to engage. They are ready to be invoked by these operator agents and get a share of this new economy, right? So that they are bubbling up. But there is a big problem that is still being solved. And a critical question, I think someone commented here, privacy and all of those things. There's another big question as we go through this, which is, what happens if you order that and then 5 blazes arrive in your doorstep? Who do you call? Do you call the operator agent? Do you call the merchant that sent that to you? Do you call the courier that sent that to your house? And who as a customer do you see as at fault to the fact that you now have friction and you have to deal with returning these items, right? And all of those things. And who will write off the fact that now there is 5 blazers that was sent to a consumer home and you're out of inventory. So all of these things need to be solved. Those are where interoperability come to play. And a lot coming here and already announced by a lot of players. So I'm going to wrap it up pretty fast here. I know we're almost out of time and I want to make sure we have a little bit of time for discussions. In sum, the 4 shifts that are underway, one is that consumer shift from search to intent. The other is the infrastructure shift from batch to real time so that your inventory is ready there, your campaign is ready over there. The other one is the trust shift from a brand reputation to that agent integrity. And finally is this business shift from channels to invocable systems. And so hopefully with the help of everyone here, we can drive a better economy by having everyone ready to engage and addressing each of these in their strategies for growth as a business and building this agentic economy together. What I did as I'm thinking through this problem, though, I did start meeting a few people about it, and we are starting basically a movement of bringing some folks together on how do we educate more people about this problem or this opportunity, create tools that will help small businesses engage in the agentic economy and all of that. And so we're still in the early stages, but we're looking for people that want to help or want to be part of this and informed and stay informed about as we progress what we're doing there. And so if you guys want to sign up or share about this initiative, I'd appreciate that. Again, it's really focusing on the fact that I know all of these enterprises are investing heavily here, and who is going to take care of the moms and pop shop or the cupcake shop that sells cupcake at our corners. So with that said, I'd love to open it up for discussion and get some questions from you guys, any feedback, any points that you would love to discuss.
Looks like there was some lively discussion in the chat, but no direct questions. There was one that I pulled out that might have been more of a question to the audience, but I'll pose it to you anyway, Jacqueline, to get your opinion. Hey guys, do you all agree that people shop like this? Because I don't think so. And that came from somebody earlier on. I guess, Jacqueline, do you have evidence that people are actually engaging this way, and maybe some concrete personal examples?
You mean if people shop in going through tens of tabs to figure out what they're looking for?
No. I think this referred specifically to the agentic way, right? Like actually engaging with something like a ChatGPT or some other AI and having it do the shopping for you.
No, not today. The technology isn't there yet. This is what's being built. And so what's happening, that's a very good question. Thank you, Manuel, and for who posed it there. And by the way, if you guys have more questions, please do share. What we're talking about here is that consumers are already using these LLMs to drive better decisioning around what to buy. And it's not fully autonomously shopping on your behalf because it's still giving you the link of the website of the merchant that you need to go to. And then you go to that merchant's website, you find the item there again, or you land on the product page and then you buy it. What is being built, though, when you talk about autonomous, is the ability to then, instead of the consumer having to be redirected to these merchant sites within these platforms, you already resolve it there.
Got it. That makes sense. We did have Curtis Gilbert that raised his hand and moved on stage here. So Curtis, I'll turn it over to you to ask a question. And be sure that you have your audio on. There may be a mute button that you have to overcome.
Yep. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes, we can.
Great, Jacqueline, the best of the bunch. Thank you so much. Great presentation. So hello to you. That was like, wow. My question is really been a very common question along many different conversations. You know, you got to be able to map out what you're trying to do. And I'm talking about the ability to take the time to meticulously map out the user journey, decision points, moments of truth. I mean, all the customary things that you really, if you do your homework, want to think about doing. I'll just put it that way. What I find is that is such a horribly tedious exercise still to this day. Like, do you do Lucid? Do you do Draw? Do you do, I mean, and I have yet to find any tool that would do a nice job of helping put the decision points, the cross-functional relationships, whether it's agentic, whether it's people in the loop, etc. Tell me you've got a magic pill for me, or you're just going to smile at me and say, I'm looking for that myself. Why don't I go build it?
I love the question, and thank you, Curtis. It's great to be here, and I love the question. And the reason that I'm starting this movement around Bubbler AI is because the solution for it at scale isn't there. So the tools available for people to drive agent-to-agent experiences and understand, okay, how much value did my business bring to this task that this operator agent is doing? How did I show up? How do we log the handshakes? Or even if today, I don't know if you guys had the chance to figure out how your business is showing up today across these platforms. Do you like how it's representing your business? Do you want to tweak it? Do you even know how to tweak it? And so there's the design of how the experience should look like and what are the players, but there's also the optimization of that. And what's happening is that, again, enterprises have the funds and the infrastructure to go and build these things for them and their purpose. But the scale of it, there isn't much investment there or solutions around it. And we need smart people that, like yourself, understand this problem, and we can get together and start solving.
But your shorter answer is you don't have a magic pill for me.
No, sorry.
Be that way. Thank you, Jacqueline. Great presentation. Let me make some way for some other good ones. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Great.
Thanks, Curtis. Okay, anybody else that would like to raise their hand and potentially ask a live question or in the chat? Now is the time.
I do see Jay Campbell mentioning the release of OpenAI's Agentic browser. We also have Comet's Agentic browser. All of those are with the intention of solving that end-to-end experience within that closed ecosystem, so that what I call the operator agent. Some other folks, I think OpenAI has a product called Operator as well, that does this. And it's also important, I think, as we go through this agent to agent, the Gen AI part of it is new. But I don't know how many of you guys have assistants at home. So I, for example, already get my Alexa to turn my Roomba on and off for me, or get it to invoke Spotify to play my favorite music, and so on. And so those handshakes in a different, less autonomous way have already started to be established as the industry, but the autonomous and generative part of it is what's really new, and the scale of it as well, right?
You're very brave by connecting your Alexa with your Roomba. That's my takeaway anyway. But yes, I'm well aware of that as well. It's great technology.
Awesome.
Amazing. Well, last call for any questions. Otherwise, Jacqueline, this was awesome. Thank you very much for the presentation and the time. And I'm sure, if anybody wants to reach out to you afterward, we'll get your contact information out there for everybody. So yeah, thank you very much. And we'll see you all at the next session. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Manuel. Take care.